What question is that?
Brandon came up with the question. It was like, I'm really traumatized, like my girl Miley.
In today's news, we will be taking an inside look into the life of a commuter student.
We will also be answering viewer questions and practicing makeup with a winter-appropriate tutorial.
As always, we will keep you up to date with what has happened in sports this past week and campus events coming up. This is Canisius Connections.
And thank you for tuning in to Canisius Connections, your #1 source for news, campus events, and sports happening here at Canisius. I'm Bridget Fallon.
And I'm Emma Holbrook.
As it turns out, the majority of the Canisius College community is actually made up of commuter students. In order to get a taste in the life of a commuter student, we had our very own Michael McQuaid do a video log in the day of his commuter life. Let's take a look.
Welcome to the first ever episode of Commuter Life. I, once again, am Mike McQuaid, your host of awesomeness. And I'm here to show you what it's like in the life of a daily commuter. This is Commuter Life. In the morning, you get to get up 2 hours in advance of your first class just so you can brush off your car and get there on time. Luckily, there was only snow on it today, but some days it has ice on the windows. What a nightmare that is.
Here in my car, I feel safest of all. I can lock on my doors. It's the only way.
Now that we're here, we need to walk all the way back to Old Main. Luckily, we can go through the science hall.
I can listen to you. It keeps me stable for days in cars.
Before the science hall opened, we actually had to walk all the way to Old Main from the ramp, in the freezing cold. Thank you, Science Hall.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
But until Canisius finally installs that teleporter, we still have to go outside to get to Old Main. Buffalo is like my mother, cold and unforgiving. As a commuter, you usually get there at the last minute, which means you don't have time to wait for the elevator. You all know what comes next. Here we go. Commuters are usually pressed for time, so we have to run up the stairs as fast as we possibly can. If you think it's tough carrying 40 pounds of books up 4 flights of stairs, just try doing it after sprinting all the way from the ramp. You'll be exhausted. At the end of class, commuters pack up their stuff just the same as residents, with one minor exception. We have to carry our coats everywhere. Way easier coming down. I'm like Rocky. Of course, even Rocky had to eat lunch, and since commuters don't have meal plans, they usually go to Tim Hortons for food. If they're lucky, they can get through the line with just enough time left to get to their next class without being late. But it's a drag. And in case you're a salamander and you've been looking at a rock, the recent construction in the library has made the Tim Hortons line unbearable. Luckily, commuters have a safe haven where they can get away from all the stresses of college life. Enter the cave. Since commuters don't have dorms to go to after class, they instead go to a place called the Commuter Lounge. The lounge features couches and chairs, a communication board, laptop workstations, cable TV, 3 different vending machines, a water cooler, paper towels, a microwave and toaster, a pencil sharpener, a retractable screen they use on Movie Monday, and an array of computers complete with their own spinning chairs. Spinning chairs rule! And they spin for so long, too! You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, right round, round, round. You spin me right round, baby, right round, like a record, baby, right round, round, round. Well, that's all for this episode. Until next time, this is Mike McQuaid saying, I got it covered.
Thanks, Mike. I can really feel your pain about that long line at Tim Hortons, especially today. It was so long after lunch. Bridget, though, I am really liking your makeup today. It looks great.
Thank you so much, Emma. Before taping the show today, I had the opportunity to have my makeup done by our very own Emma Holbrook.
This makeup look is awesome for bronzing and brightening up the face even in the dead of winter. With that said, let's jump into the tutorial.
I'm pulling Bridget's hair back so that the makeup doesn't get in her hair. She's just showing it off. So now I'm putting primer on the big brush because you only need a little bit of primer. You don't want it to make the makeup too sticky. Now we're going to put on some concealer using a concealer stick by Olay, just on her blemishes. Now we will grab some light powder to cover up the blemish stick and add more makeup. Now we are going to add bronzer in to contour the face and to show off her cheekbones. Now we will add more powder and highlighter to blend in the contouring. Now we are going to add blush. Now we will add a little bit more highlighter and illuminator right below the eyes. Now we will add eyeshadow, starting with the lightest shade closest to the eyebrow. Now we will do a slightly darker shade right around the crease of the eyelid. Now we will do the darkest shade closest to the end of the eyelid. Now we will add white in the inner corners of the eyes and right below the eye. Now we will add eyeliner. First, before we use liquid, we can use pencil, so if mistakes are made, they won't show up as much. Now we will add a little bit more liquid eyeliner. We'll add a little bit of white under the eye and a little bit of brown over the eyeliner just to make it look natural. Now we will do a light pink shade of lipstick and then put chapstick over it just to blend it and make it look natural. Now we will put on her mascara using Falsy Maybelline mascara. We will use an eyelash curler one time on each eye to make the eyelashes curl up. We will use a Garnier Fructis spray in order to scrunch the hair. This will create a beachy, bright look to make it perfect for winter and for summer.
Thanks, Emma, for making me both winter and camera ready.
No problem, Bridget. It was really my pleasure.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to turn it over to Brandon Rudd to find out what happened this past week in sports. You won't want to miss it.
Hello, Griff Nation. Welcome back to Canisius Connections with your all-new sports update, hosted by the Z1, Z only, Brandon Kingsley Rudd. How you doing? Now, on this segment, we're going to quickly recap what's been happening with all your Canisius sports team during this past week, showcase upcoming games, and finally give you the things that have the whole Griff Nation buzzing. Are you guys ready? Because I'm ready. So sit down, kick back, relax, and let's get this thing started. Let's kick off with men's hockey. Now, as we all know, it's been a bit of a disappointment for the Hockey Griffs these past weeks, but nothing can describe the feeling by being up by a point in the final 5 minutes and letting in 3 unanswered goals to lose in heartbreaking fashion at home against against Mercyhurst last Thursday. It was a tough pill to swallow after all that hard work in the game, but don't you worry, child, as in the next game against Mercyhurst, which was on last Saturday, January 25th, the Griffs saw a better result. They didn't just win the game like the band Fall Out Boy. They didn't just light the lamp, they light them up. That one's for you, Dave. With not one goal, not two, not three, but 7 goals to win the away game 7-4. Leading the Griffs in the contest was senior forward Taylor Law, who had 2 goals. Also contributing in the scoring were freshman Gerald Fortman, sophomore Ralph Kademi, junior Doug Jesse, and senior Kyle Gibbons, who all had 1 goal. Speaking of Kyle Gibbons, the senior forward has been nominated for the Hobie Baker Award, which is given out to the nation's top player. Fan voting will be included in the decision on who gets the award. So if you want to see your guy Kyle Gibbons get the award, here's how you do it. You could go on hobiebaker.com, go to the awards icon, click on place your vote now. You will see a list of live players. Scroll down to follow Kyle Gibbons and click on vote. It's that easy. So get out there and show your support, Griff Nation, and start clicking. And while you're off clicking, the men's hockey will be on the road Friday and Saturday in Springfield, Massachusetts to face AIC in a 2-game series. Moving on to women's basketball. Women's basketball had a rough start to the weekend in Fairfield, Connecticut, as last Friday they couldn't complete the comeback against Fairfield, losing 57-63. Leading the way for their team were senior guard Jen Morabito, who had 16 points and 2 rebounds, and sophomore forward Crystal Porter, who had 15 points and 5 rebounds. Going in on Sunday, the Lady Griffs were in the same situation against Siena, but were able to right the wrongs from the last game and successfully come back to win 75-66. The impact player who led the team in the victory was senior guard Kayla Huhuli, who put up 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists. Following the trail was sophomore Crystal Porter, who had 13 points and 5 assists and 3 rebounds, and also freshman guard Laura DeHunt, who had 11 points, a rebound, and an assist. Coming up for the Lady Griffs is a big matchup as we see the Belle of the Bridge continue as Niagara will host Canisius for the first time this regular season tonight. Now, if you thought the men's basketball game was intense, just you wait till you see the ladies hit the court. It should be a good one on ESPN3. Speaking on the Battle of the Bridge, what a game by Canisius men's basketball team last Wednesday as they crushed Niagara 87-74. Billy Barron was on his game that night as he came up with 31 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists. Although not to be outdone, Chris Manhurst had a double-double consisting of 14 points and 11 rebounds. And Christopher Perez also chipped in with 19 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. It seems when these 3 seniors have a great game, it's always an automatic win. For example, the game on Sunday 26th, at home against Marist, they defeated Marist 78 to 65, with Billy Barron, Chris Perez, and Chris Manhurst being the top 3 scorers for the Griffs. Billy Barron had an amazing game with 38 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists, while Christopher Perez followed with 14 points, 2 assists, and a rebound, and Manhurst cleaned up with 13 points, 9 rebounds, and an assist. This past week was so special for the Griffs for not only finally beating Niagara at home, but now they are officially ranked 22nd in the collegeinsider.com rankings. Also big news for the senior guard. Yesterday, Billy Barron was named MAC Player of the Week and named the Luke Olson Award National Player of the Week by collegeinsider.com for his back-to-back 30-point games. He averaged 34.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 2.5 steals per game last week. On the behalf of Canisius Connections, we would like to say congrats to the Griffs and Billy Barron on the amazing achievement. Coming up for men's basketball, they have a big matchup for first place against Quinnipiac in Hampton, Connecticut. On Thursday, then on Saturday, they fish their small road trip against Fairfield in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Woo! Guys, that's all I have for you today, so be sure to check out #GriffSports, where they will go more in-depth in our world of Canisius sports. We got Roxanne Hernandez and Joe leading the show, and trust me, they are amazing. Follow me on Twitter at BrandonRed316 and the show on its own Twitter handle. All right, guys, I gotta go. and I got face Petey in a dance battle. Stay golden, Griffs. Bye.
Thank you, Brandon. Now it is time for the viewers to receive advice as we answer the questions that they sent in.
Okay, Emma, so the first question is as follows. My roommate snores. It's so obnoxious, I cannot even handle it. It keeps me up at night. The problem is, he's one of my good friends and I don't want to switch rooms. I know he can't help it, but it's ruining my life. What do you think I should do?
That's a hard one. Well, first, you have to make sure that the roommate knows he's snoring,
Yeah.
he or she.
Because sometimes they don't even know, and not that they can really do anything about it, but if there is some kind of health issue, maybe they should be more aware of it. And I also think a really good idea to do is to put in headphones and listen to music while you fall asleep.
Yeah, or you could just buy earbuds at the bookstore. They're pretty cheap, and there's lots of apps on the iPhone where you can put in white noise makers or even fan noises, and that will definitely block out the snoring.
Okay, now it's time for our second question. Second question reads, I am always tired all the time. This is a problem because there are so many things I have to do throughout the day. I try to get enough sleep, but unfortunately that does not always happen. Any recommendations so that I can feel more awake during the day? Okay, so my personal tip is that I take a Post-it note and stick it in my planner, normally where all my homework would go, but I write down all the tasks I have to do for that day. So as you're going through the day, you just cross them out. So even when you are really tired towards the end of the day, you look at it and say, oh, I only have 2 or 3 more things left, and it doesn't overwhelm you, and you can power through them.
That's good advice. Also, a little caffeine is fine. Just make sure you don't drink too much before you go to bed, so you're not lying in bed waiting to fall asleep. That's the worst. A little caffeine is perfect, especially in the morning.
Okay, and it's finally time for our last question. The third question reads, I have the worst professor you do not even understand. He is the worst. I want to drop his class, but it's required for my major, and he is the only professor that teaches it. I am absolutely miserable. He is disorganized and completely vague when he teaches. Please give me tips on how to survive Professor Dreadful.
Well, you are sure to have this problem at least once in your college experience, believe me. Not all professors are perfect. The best idea is probably to take it with a friend who will motivate you. You're probably going to meet people in your major, and you'll meet one that will motivate you, so that's important.
Friends always help, and keep in mind what the big picture is. It will be worth it in the end. Do you really want to drop a class because you hate one teacher that's required for your major? It will all be worth it. And another great tip we have is to do something enjoyable before or after class, whether if that's maybe getting a hot tea, if you like doing that, or going for a walk, hanging out with a friend, listening to your favorite song. It can help put you in the mood and get you through that class.
Well, thanks, guys, for sending in your questions. And if you would like your questions to be answered on Canisius Connections, be sure to email us at griffintv19@gmail.com. Get ready for some campus event updates after the commercial break, and stay tuned.
There was one day that we had just done the cardiovascular unit, in class that day. And then right after class, I went over to the Vascular Institute, volunteered, put the scrubs on. And one of the doctors asked me if I wanted to see an open heart surgery. And so I said, yeah, really? Sure.
I came into Canisius as obviously as a freshman, not really sure what I wanted to do. I ended up taking a digital media arts class, and that really just kind of jump-started my career.
And I think being where we are in the city and in the world with the medical campus that we have here is really an opportunity that I wouldn't have anywhere else.
It's more than just academics. Meet different people. Go out and do things. There's so much more to college. It's an experience.
I instantly fell in love with doing video work, graphic design. I started pursuing more and more opportunities in the school, whether it was doing admissions videos on the sides. I did a couple videos for alumni relations, the president of the college, and then I actually got noticed last year, and they sent me over to the Philippines to create a feature-length documentary.
I lived with a host family while I took classes in Spanish with Spanish professors at the University of Oviedo and I was a Spaniard for a semester, and it was the best decision I made as a college student.
Welcome back, guys. It's time to look at some upcoming events here on campus. On Thursday, January 30th, Josh Rivadell will present his show, The Gospel According to Josh, at 7 p.m. in the Montante Cultural Center, sponsored by the New Year, New You series.
Ooh, and graduating seniors, it is that time of year. The 100 Days Party will be held in the dining hall from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on February 6th. Don't miss it. The $5 admission includes food, drinks, and a commemorative cup.
Orientation leader applications are due soon. Apply to be an OL online through the My Canisius portal under CPLD Canisius community page by February 7th at 5 p.m.
Well, that's all we have for you today. Be sure to check us out on griffintv.net. We are a new show on our channel 4 every Wednesday at 7 p.m. From all of us here at Channel 4 News, have a great week, Canisius.